Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Our cantor is Sarah Kittinger, and she's going to introduce what we are going to start with.
We are going to open on page 10 with Hine Matov.
Let us rise.
Page 10. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine matov, ya la 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 la. Hine matov, ya la 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 la. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad.
We remain standing as Rose Ebner leads us in the blessing over the Shabbat lights, page 3 and page 2.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We remain standing and join Sarah in the singing of Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 on page 20, remembering to turn to the entrance as we welcome the Shabbat bride on the last stanza.
Dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat mikabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat mikabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat mikabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat mikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmiyanu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, U'shamo echad, V'shem u'tiferet v'hitlihi lecha dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat mikabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat mikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, מקדם נסוכה, so מעשה במחשבה תהי לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורי קומי אורי, אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. אורי ושלום, עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, ראש ים סגולה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה.
We continue on the bottom of page 6 as we read responsively. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
145, the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirotei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechom yomechom u'b'chayet kol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, u'bizman karim b'meru.
Amen.
Yehesh le'Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olam le'amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitador v'yitaleh v'yitala, shemei tekudesha
Richu.
le'olam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nefemata, damiran be'alma v'yemeru. Amen.
אשר בדברו מעריב הרבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, ומשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ובין לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמה, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world.
In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth.
In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on the foundation of truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohel Amo Yisrael.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Use our grasp, as in perfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
Good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. tehi lodo sefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, Molkei hayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
V'ne'emar ki farad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uvein, b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi, uvayom hashvi, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
Page 155, we rise for tefillah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor B'Hanorah, Eloheinu, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zofer Chasdei Avot v'Imachot, U'Mevi Geulah L'Bnei Bneihem, L'Man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham v'Ezrat Sarah. We pray that we might know before whom we stand, the power whose gift is life, who quickens those who have forgotten how to live, having implanted within us an eternal spirit.
We pray for winds to disperse the air of sadness, for rains to make parched hopes rise again.
We pray for love to encompass us, for no reason save that we are human, that we may blossom into persons who have gained power over our own lives.
We pray to stand upright we fallen, to be healed we sufferers. We pray to break the bonds that keep us from the world of beauty. We pray to be open to our own true selves. We pray that we may walk in the garden of purpose, in touch with the power of the world.
Praise be the God whose gift is life, whose cleansing rains let parched men and women rise again. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Haol. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. The bottom of page 160. We join together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Retzei, Retzei, Retzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael, Utefilatam, Be'ahavat Kabel, Utehi L'ratzon Tamid, Utehi L'ratzon Tamid, Avodat Yisrael Amecha, Baruch atah Adonai, She'otecha levadecha be'yiran avon, She'otecha levadecha be'yiran avon.
163. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
All praise the source of being.
For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who will live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes.
Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of our world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart.
Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevorech et amo Yisrael, ba'shalom. Friends, there are those in our congregation and our community who are ill, who are suffering, and at this time, if you would like to mention their names out loud, please do so as you see my hand pass you. We now rise for Kiddush, led by Harriet Ann Litwin. All of us know the English, those of us who are still in love with the Union Prayer Book, and then we sing the Kiddush together.
Let us praise God with this symbol of joy and give thanks for the blessings of the past week, for life and strength, for home and love and friendship, for the discipline of our trials and temptation, for the happiness that comes to us out of our labors. You have ennobled us, O God, by the blessings of work, and in love have sanctified us by Sabbath rest and worship as ordained in the Torah. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to be hallowed unto the eternal your God.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon inhilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'ata v'yatanu kidashta mikol amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai lekodesh hashabbat. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
So Susie and I had some month, this month of June. June 10th, we celebrated the bar mitzvah of our grandson Jonathan in Winchester, Virginia, and I had the pleasure and honor of officiating at that event. And yesterday, we had our fifth grandchild, a little boy named Shane Levi, and everybody has been mazel toving us. And I say to myself, mazel toving us? We had nothing to do with this. So, through modern technology, we're going to sing the Shehechianu to the mommy and the daddy. And hold on one moment. It's not such incredible technology, except when I have it. Hello yourself. Everybody here wants to congratulate you, wish you a mazel tov through a wonderful bracha that we have. You and Howie, is he there?
Yeah, you're on speaker.
I'm on speaker. Yeah, so are you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu Lazman hazeh. Amen.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. How you doing?
Good.
Good, glad to
Really
hear
holding
it.
him.
That's nice. Well, enough of this chit-chat. I have to give a sermon, and
Okay,
so we'll
thank
see.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye. Give the baby a kiss for us.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. I would have FaceTimed, except by the time I got that done, we would have been out here and a week would have passed. On a Shabbat evening at the end of October 1952, a prestigious rabbi stood at the pulpit and looked out at the Kol Nidre-sized congregation, even though the holy days had come and gone weeks before. So many had gathered that night because the sermon topic publicized in the congregation's newsletter was Dwight or Adlai. On November 4th of that year, there would be an election for President of the United States with Dwight Eisenhower and Adlai Stevenson, the Republican and Democratic candidates, vying against each other. Perhaps this rabbi would offer a perspective not previously considered. Would he even suggest for whom his congregation might vote? The sermon time had arrived. The rabbi began speaking, and the men and women were waiting with bated breath. Yet his sermon had nothing at all to do with the election. He was surprised that so many congregants had come to the synagogue to hear him speak about Jewish names. Earlier this month, as I said, I had the honor of officiating at Jonathan's bar mitzvah, and my sermon that Friday night was publicized as to celebrate or not to celebrate. With my own sick sense of humor, I figured there would be at least one person who would read this title and think, does Jonathan's Opa have a question as to whether he wants to celebrate this milestone event, not only for Jonathan, but for the entire family? Indeed, would this be a dramatic and revelatory moment? Or maybe it'll be a Dwight and Adlai moment. The sermon had nothing to do with the bar mitzvah. Rather, the week of the event marked the 50th anniversary of the Six-Day War, that perilous week from June 5th through June 10th in 1967, when the very life of the State of Israel was at stake, as at no other time before. For those of you who remember that week, it didn't look good. In fact, it looked like the young Jewish state would cease to exist. Israel was forced to launch a preemptive strike, knowing full well that the entire Arab world was poised to attack, and Israel knew that help was not necessarily guaranteed. The United States might be there for Israel, but the citizens of Israel were aware from the past, the near and the distant past, that they alone had to be prepared to face the enemy, as had been the case in the War of Independence, and as we know, would be the case too many times after. And for sure, the United Nations, impotent and worthless organization that it is, was no help. In fact, those do-nothings abandoned their peacekeeping position, in the Sinai. Why? Because Egypt ordered them to. Now all of the borders of the Jewish state were open. Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq had 240,000 deployed troops, as well as support pledged from 7 other Arab nations, plus Yasser Arafat's PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization. All of them were intent on finally pushing Israel into the sea, as they promised they would do for nearly 2 decades. So who could win under those conditions? The odds were so stacked against Israel, who had 100,000 deployed troops, less than 1/2 the total of the enemy. For those of you who are too young to remember that event, it is called the Six-Day War because in less than a week, actually within 2 or 3 days, Israel had defeated the armies of the enemies. In the first day alone, virtually the entire air force of Egypt, the strongest of the attacking countries, was destroyed. This tiny nation, the salvation of our Jews, captured the Sinai Desert, the Golan Heights, the West Bank, as well as all of Jerusalem. We were now in the position of being less vulnerable. And not only Israelis, but Jews all over were seen as strong and heroic, a complete turnaround from the way Jews have been portrayed, at least since the Holocaust. In fact, for hundreds of years before. The victims, the homeless, the object of derision. We who were not able to fight against the German tyrant to save 6 million, who never had a home that we could call our own, built up the 19-year-old Jewish state and its defense forces to destroy the collective enemy who swore to put every man, woman, and child from the Zionist entity to the sword. In those days, they refused to even call Israel, Israel. I'm not trying to minimize the terrible loss of life suffered by all, including Israel. But the pride of world Jewry was unlike it had never been, probably in the history of our people. But I still ask, to celebrate or not to celebrate, that is the question. Well, of course we celebrate. But to add to the affirmation is that this isn't the only significant anniversary with respect to Jewish history and Israel. And I say Jewish history because we had a history before the creation of the state. The dream of a homeland is rooted in the Torah, rooted in our presence on that soil for centuries before the modern era. You can imagine the joy expressed by the vast majority of worldwide Jews when, on November 2nd, 1917, not 50, but 100 years ago, Arthur James Balfour, Foreign Minister of England, wrote to Baron Rothschild, head of the Zionist movement at the time, quote, "His Majesty's government views with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object." To be sure, there were political motives behind the declaration, but it was a first step to fulfill the words of Theodor Herzl, the first Zionist leader and its visionary. 15 years before, in 1902, he wrote the famous words, "If you will it, it is no dream." And that referred to a Jewish homeland absent from our people for centuries. Yet another anniversary is commemorated this year, nestled between the Balfour Declaration and the Six-Day War. On November 29th, 1947, also 50 years ago, was the day the United Nations adopted, 70 years ago, the partition plan creating independent Arab and Jewish states overseen by Great Britain. We have to celebrate the victory of the Six-Day War. In the past 50 years, Israel moved forward while their neighbors were for the most part stagnant, focusing always on war, on destruction, and not on the welfare of their own people and those in the neighborhood we call the Middle East. In the past 50 years, we have seen incomparable medical, agricultural, technological, and other advances by Israel. Israel's eye is always on tomorrow. The list of life-saving inventions that have come out of Israel is staggering. And speaking of staggering, there are today over 6,000 startups currently in the Jewish state. The flash drive, the Intel 8088, the first PC from IBM, the laser keyboard, ICQ, and instant messaging software later taken over by AOL, Waze, the GPS founded in 2008 by Uri Levine and 2 other Israelis. In the realm of consumer goods and appliances, Kibbutz HaGoshrim invented the Epilator, originally called the Epilady. Many games came from Israel, including Rummikub, Hidato, Taki, and Mastermind, Krav Maga, the very popular self-defense system, and the Feldenkrais method of exercise therapy. I'm not blind to the issues that have made many of our people question the celebratory nature of the Six-Day War. The most liberal do not celebrate. They bemoan the status of over 2 million Palestinians. And I certainly understand the conflict they have. I too see the nationalism of Netanyahu and the virtual messianism of the ultra-Orthodox blocking any peace potential. It's not good for Israel, and surely just the social justice issue, better, the social injustice, goes against our values. A two-state solution is the only solution. But that's not my focus tonight. I'm celebrating 6 days in Jewish history that saved the state from extinction. I'm celebrating 6 days in Jewish history that allowed us as a people to view the future with hope. And in terms of Israel's contributions, as I enumerated, plus many, many, many more, those neighbors of theirs should look to Israel for their own hope. Were they wise? Were they visionaries? Were they not stuck in the quicksand of hate? They would realize this. But there is hope, albeit because of ISIS and the other terrorist organizations that threaten not only the West, but the so-called moderate Arab states. There has been real and substantive communication between at least the Gulf states, and I'm sure most of the other Arab nations, and Israel. As one commentator said, everyone knows this is happening. The next step is for the Arabs to tell everyone it's happening and not continue to stick their heads in their own sandboxes. Yes, I'm celebrating the Six-Day War, and to add to the celebration, I'd like to advertise an interfaith trip to Israel mid-February through the beginning of March, February 18th through March the 4th. For the third time, Pastor David Mueller and I will be visiting the Jewish and Christian sites of what many call the Holy Land. Oh, I went to Israel already, you might say. Well, if you went in 1968, and 1977, 1981, 1995, even 2003, those were very arbitrary years, you ain't seen nothing yet. Israel has the ancient sites, and you can't modernize places and things which are a few thousand years old. But what they've uncovered in recent years and what the cities look like as well makes Israel a new country every single year. More information will be coming in the near future, and it will be publicized in various ways. And if you're at all interested, let me know when you receive the publicity. And remember, Israel is the source of celebration. For without her, where would we be today? See for yourself. Amen. Speaking of Israel, we have a traveler's prayer for a young lady, Mackenzie, who is Roz Lieberman's daughter, and Sharon and Howard's granddaughter, and Sharon and Howard's daughter, who is going to Israel as part of Maccabi USA, right? You're leaving when, July 2nd?
I leave on
Monday, which is the 3rd. Terrific. So I ask you and your parents and your grandma to come on up. We rise as the ark is open. First of all, don't be nervous.
Is that what you told them 30 years ago when you married them?
I forgot to send them the license. May it be your will, eternal our God and the God of our ancestors, that you lead Mackenzie toward peace, guide her footsteps toward peace, and make her reach her desired destination for life, for gladness, and for peace. May you rescue her from the hand of every foe, ambush along the way, and from all manner of punishments that assemble to come to earth. May you send blessing in her handiwork, and grant her grace, kindness, and mercy in your eyes, and in the eyes of all who see her. May you hear the sound of her humble request, because you are God who hears prayer requests. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who hears prayer. And all of us shall say, Amen. Have a Nesiya Tova, a wonderful, wonderful trip, and do something good for Maccabi.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's an important, important thing. We turn now to the Alena, don't go anywhere, which I know in the other book is 586.
282.
Okay, 282. Page 287. Together. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. May we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas. And light up the universe with the joy and holiness of freedom and of peace.
Thank you so much, Ahmed.
Thank you. Page 289. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living, the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. As those who mourn the loss of loved ones and commemorate the yard sites of those dear in their hearts, rise to sanctify the name of the living God. Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'yamaru, amen yehei shmei rabbah mevarach, le'olam elalmei almaya, yitvarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekutsha brichu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'yamru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru, amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Marlene Harrison, Marcella Lobensberg, Martin Pressman, Josephine Akel, Francis Applebaum, Lillian Kramer, Joseph Foreman, Anna Gelb, Ray Goldenberg, Rhea Gould, Mark Hershon, Maurice Hochstein, Harold M. Katz, Rose G. Koffler, Robert Kramer, Jeffrey M. Kronfeld, Anna Lander, Ruth Lieberman, Linda Denise Margulis, Herman L. Merritt, Morris Pfeffer, Martin Q. Selzer, Morris Sklar, Beryl Weisberg, Rosalie Wolfe. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing, as together we say, Amen. Amen. Again, a hearty mazel tov, Mackenzie, and I hope that your trip exceeds your expectations. 30 years, Sharon? Yup. Wow. Great. Mazel tov. I would like to thank Sarah for being our chazan tonight, and I also officiated at Sarah's naming. Probably the first baby in the history of humanity who needed a haircut before her naming. Right, Mara? Oh, yeah. I guess there are other announcements found on your copy of what used to be called the Sabbath Lights. And that's about it. Oh, we have a challah. Okay. So we rise and we join with Sarah, and thank you, Mr. Stewart. Everybody
Thank
takes
you,
you for
John.
granted. I don't take you for granted, I just forgot.
I don't.
Page 321, we rise for Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Ma'ala B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra V'Eid Nasa V'Chafso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra
Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'Yacharei Yiflot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'Hu Haya V'Hu Ha'oveh
V'Hu Yiyeh B'Tifara V'Hu Yiyeh B'Tifara V'Hu Echad V'Ein Sheni L'Ham Shilo L'Chachira V'Li Reshit V'Li Tachlit V'Lo Ha'oz V'Ha'Misra V'Lo Ha'oz V'Ha'Misra V'Hu Eli V'Chai Goli V'Tzur Chevli B'Yetzara V'Hu Nisi V'Umanosli Menat Kosi V'Yom Ekra Menat Kosi V'Yom Ekra V'Yado Avkidruchi B'Yed Ishan V'Aira V'Imruchi K'Viati Adonai Li V'Lo Ira Adonai Li V'Lo Ira
Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Wash my hands.